Okay, sorry. Hello, welcome. Sorry, we're live on Instagram and on Facebook. Welcome. So my name is Shayna K. Hey, I am the founder of Memorable Essay and the creator of the IMG Residency Match Application Accelerator. And so we're actually going to be talking this evening about what is the IMG Residency Match Application Accelerator, because we are now open for 2022. That's going into Match 2023. So working with applicants in this calendar year for the match that's coming up next March. And we are officially open. So tonight we're going to have a chat. If you've been following for a while, either on Instagram or on Facebook, and you have wondered, who is this person anyway? What service does her company provide? We are going to talk about that this evening. And if you have any questions and you join live, feel free to ask them. If you happen to see the replay and you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. If you've never been here before in this community, my name is Shayna K. as I said before, and I'm the creator of the IMG Residency Match Application Accelerator. So we can start by talking about what exactly is it that we do, just to make sure that we are clear on that. So what we do in the IMG Residency Match Application Accelerator, I think the name, sort of gives it away, but we work with ambitious international medical graduates. So what I mean by that is IMGs who are really committed to self-actualization, to realizing their full potential in their medical career as well as in their personal lives, right? Because our careers touch every single aspect of our lives and even, our future generations' lives and all of that stuff. So if you're an IMG who you are committed to being the best that you can be in your career, which is why you want to match, and also who you can be as a person, the skills you can have and the places you can go, this is for you. It's for the ambitious IMG. What exactly do we help you to do? So think about it as us helping you to go from a blank page or a very rough draft where your application is concerned to an application that is memorable and gives you the best possible odds of matching, because that is why you would be coming to us, right? As an international medical graduate and in our program, as I said, we support IMGs. You know that you're dealing with a situation where everything for you has to be on 10 as it concerns the match process, and so we basically become the team who you turn over your application to. So we actually work via an application process, and so if you are watching on Instagram, you would go up to the link in our bio and click on that link and apply for a suitability interview. I'm going to also drop the link on Facebook. I'm sure it's in our Facebook description somewhere, but I'm going to drop it as well so that you could click that link to apply for the interview. We are looking for a specific kind of IMG. First of all, I think it probably goes without saying, but you would want to be, and you would have to be, the kind of IMG who is really committed to this match process. So this isn't like, a plan B or a plan C for you. You're not going to bail halfway through, but you really are committed to getting yourself a match, and you really have been putting all of your ducks in a row, trying to make sure that everything is done really well, and we would be supporting you to make sure that the application that you create is going to give you the best possible odds of being successful. So you really want to be somebody who is very committed to your match journey, and you know why you want to match in order for us to support you. The other thing that we look for in the individuals who we support, we offer a premium service. It's a premium program that is going to give you tons of one-on-one support. Therefore, it requires a meaningful investment of your financial resources, of your time, and of your energy as well. So this is not a service where you're going to send us some notes and we're going to magically produce some documents that don't have anything to do with you because we wrote them ourselves. We really are going to be supporting you ethically in your process, in your journey of putting together your application. And so we need for you to be somebody who is used to making meaningful investments of your resources, whether that's your time, your energy, or your finances. Someone who really values ease and doing things properly the first time around. You have to be that kind of person who's used to making these sorts of investments in your personal development as well as in your growth, because it's a very high touch one-on-one service, a lot of deep diving, into your world and into your life as an international medical graduate. And so we are going to require that you show up and that you are also invested in the process. All right. This also is for IMGs, as I kind of alluded to earlier, who like organization and like things to go step by step, because sometimes in the past I've definitely supported individuals who we have a process. You want to be able to trust the process, to trust or organized step-by-step process, right? It's a proven process, and I'm stressing this step-by-step because oftentimes people can be very overwhelmed or very flustered because they're looking at, okay, what do I need to do? My personal statement, my CV, the ERAS application, maybe even some supplemental questions, I need to answer those. My MSPE, I need to get letters of recommendation. Further on, I need to get letters of interest. And so you are thinking about everything at once, and you actually almost want to start everything at once. Or maybe you've actually started everything at once, like maybe you're actually working on your personal statement, working on your CV, requesting letters of recommendation, preparing for your tests, preparing for your specialties, researching programs, like you're doing all the things at the same time. If you're somebody who needs to do all the things at the same time and you can't, sort of like relax and trust our process and work on things step by step and stage by stage, then this wouldn't be for you either, because we really try to take the overwhelm and the confusion and the rush out of things. So we go step by step, almost document by document in terms of the application. And so we're going to need you to be able to come on board with that. All right. So if all of those things sound like, somebody who you are in terms of you are committed to the match 100%, you're somebody who's used to investing in yourself to get to your next level in your career, in your personal life, and you're somebody who you are teachable, you would be able to trust and to follow a proven process, then this will be for you. All right. So now we're going to talk about how exactly do we work with you inside our program, because I know for a lot of people it's very important for you to know what exactly you're going to get, right? Before you even apply for an interview or before you even sign up, or, you just want to know if this is worth your time. And so I'm actually going to walk you through the 4 main pillars of our program and, just give you a little bit about my own background and, why the program is structured this way. So as I said before, my name is Shayna K. If you've been here for a while, maybe you know my name. But my personal background is that I grew up in Jamaica, the island of Jamaica in the Caribbean, not Jamaica, Queens. And I attended high school in Jamaica and I went abroad for college. And so through my experiences at college, which is Bates College for my undergrad, as well as graduate school, I attended Columbia University for graduate school in public health and journalism. And along that way, worked in admissions, worked in journalism, worked in a think tank, in a sexual and reproductive health think tank, worked with the World Bank, lots of, like development healthcare type experience. I really realized that I was going to bring together all of that I was doing in what I do know, what we do know, what my team does know at Memorable SA. That's sort of it. And so I started actually 8 years ago supporting IMGs. And at the time, because people do ask, they do come and they do ask, well, can I just get support with my personal statement? Can I just get support with my CV? Or all of this is done, can I just get support with a letter of recommendation? And when I first started this work 8 years ago, I definitely did it in that way, supporting people with one-off documents, one-off questions. And then I realized that my clients at the time really were not getting the best possible results for them, because we'd support you, or I'd support you with a personal statement, and then the CV would be lacking, or I'd support you with a CV and the personal statement was a grand disaster. And then most importantly, actually, I realized that I would find IMGs repeatedly making some moves strategically that were not very strategic, not very helpful at all. So things like just, applying to specialties that objectively they would never, match into, objectively speaking, right? There's always magic and luck and prayer and all of these things. But objectively speaking, based on the profile that they were presenting, this wasn't the best way to go about their process, whether they needed to add another specialty or to revisit how to become suitable for applying to another specialty. There was obviously room for work on strategy. And so what happened is that using all of this experience from admissions, as I was saying, from HR and print journalism and sexual and reproductive health and comms communication is really like my strong point, and the thing I've probably worked the most on night and day for the past 20 years actually. In bringing that together, I actually pivoted in providing these one-off services to create the IMG Residency Match Application Accelerator. So here are the pillars in our program, and I'll be able to tell you exactly why we have them, right? So the first pillar of our program really is strategy, and as I said before, that was based off of me seeing lots of IMGs making moves that were quite arguably, objectively, just not very strategic. And so we really want to start with understanding just even how competitive you are as an applicant. And strategy really is all about, this is my goal, I want to match, this is me right now where I am, what I bring to the table, how do I bridge the gap in between those two places, right? Because where you want to go sometimes, you might not seem on paper to be perfectly suited for it, but that doesn't mean that you can't get there. So we're really figuring out how competitive you are and what is the best strategy. How can we plan backwards to get you to your eventual destination? And I list strategy first, but strategy really is in every single component, every single phase of what we do is informed by strategy. We never leave the strategy out, right? Because strategy is everything. It is just absolutely everything. You don't want to be acting willy-nilly. You want to be strategic at every step of the way. And so our first pillar and area of focus is strategy. The next thing that we focus on, which is what makes our program unique in the landscape of medical admission consulting programs, is that we focus really heavily on messaging and branding, specifically on our signature process or memorable story brand messaging process. And so what that is that we are really getting to know you pretty well so that we can help you to stand out on paper. And that might sound really simple, and being memorable actually is not rocket science, but it is a science, right? It's also a bit of an art, I would say. Maybe it's both art and science, right? But there's definitely a science to it, although it's not rocket science. And so with our signature process, with our signature writing tools, we're really able to help you to uncover, first of all, what is unique about you. Like if a program gets 6,000 applications, if a program gets 2,500 applications, how can you say to this program, this is what I'm bringing, this is my unique value. If you get me, you get this thing that I promise you cannot get from another 5,999. I interviewed a successful client recently and they said that, right? This is what you cannot get from the other 5,999 applicants. We are going to, in our messaging and branding phase, we're going to uncover that. And then we have to figure out the language for you to communicate that in your personal statement, in your CV, in your LORs. I know you're not writing them, but hint, hint, there's a way to do that. In your interview responses, we are going to get that done, right? Because that is, I could talk about messaging and branding all day, specifically story branding, but that really is just the height, and it's the thing, it's the thing. And I know I just said strategy is the thing because strategy is important, but I guess next to strategy, your messaging and your branding is really what has to work. And even if you don't even end up working with memorable essay, you need to sit down and knock out your branding and knock out your story brand out of the park. But that's the second phase of our program. The third phase of our program is writing and editing. Now, there is a lot that goes in here because there is a lot that needs to be done, especially if you yourself are not a solid writer. There is a lot to be done for your documents to make a really good first impression, for them to be professional and for people to know that you are serious. And the reason that I take the writing and editing part so seriously, it's not just that I care and I make sure that everyone who I bring onto the team cares about this, is that honestly, I know from all of my experience in admissions, from all of my experience working and being on different selection committees, even CEO search committees, that people oftentimes make up their mind about you from just your written application, and they interview you only as a formality. But it's so possible to have people completely sold on you being the one even before you enter the door, and you're almost like a mini celebrity based on what they've read. They're talking about you at the water cooler, they're maybe even exchanging emails about you, or they're talking to their wife or husband about you the night before they interview you. Totally possible, and that's what you want with your writing and editing, to make sure that you have a really memorable personal statement, you have a polished and professional CV, that all your letters of recommendation are really authentic and really strong, and that's going to come from strong writing and editing. And then the final phase of our process is interview prep. Really important. You should never skip that. We do it in 2 ways. But the really cool thing about having gone through the other 3 phases, in terms of having gone through your strategy, in terms of having gone through your messaging and branding, and having really strong writing and editing, is that your interviewing should be a breeze, right? Because you're literally taking all of this messaging that you have and that you've used in other ways before, and you're figuring out how to say it. And that is another skill set. It's another skill set you're going to learn and to be trained in. But what you're not searching for at that time, that other people tend to be searching for at that time if they haven't gone through our processes, you are not searching anew for answers to things like, tell me about yourself, what strengths do you add to our program, do you have any weaknesses, tell me about the time when you had to work with a difficult colleague or a supervisor. All those things you would have thought through, you would have had great answers, great patient anecdotes and all of that by the time we get around to our interview prep. So that's really it. That's what we, focus on. There's one addition to this year that I'm so excited about, because in the past we've really just kind of hunkered down on the application, but I brought on board last year, well, that's not true, it was more than him. I brought on board last year a couple of people, and the year before some other people, including a really amazing therapist and a study coach. I guess now she's an academic life coach. She teaches you how to study, and there is a way to learn how to learn. And so last year I worked with Dr. Morgan again, and he's going to be in our program this year all the way through to next March. And so this is just such an exciting opportunity, I think, to have support to get your application done in a couple of weeks, but to also have mentorship support for an entire year available to you by people who are like at the top of what they do, right? The people who started like 8-7 years ago when I started, being able to really see where your career can go and to meet them, hint, hint, right? To meet them and to over time build a relationship with them. No strong hints, but to expand your own network and your community with other people who we're working with and all of that. These really are priceless opportunities. And so that's what the IMG Residency Match Application Accelerator is all about. And our promise to you, obviously, is not a match. 6 out of 10 match rate. Could never do that if I'm sane, could never even do that ethically. But our promise to you really is that we'll be here with you to help you to create an application that's going to give you the best possible odds of matching into your #1 program. We want you to match. It's the best odds of matching, but we also really want our applicants to match into the specialties that they love, right? And into programs that are wonderful, programs that support your physical health, your mental health. We don't want to hear, people have been successful in our programs and yay, they match, and then they're at a program that's horrible and they're burnt out and they're contemplating suicide and their mental health is going down the drain. That's not where you're right, that's not the level that we're at, right? If you're dealing with that kind of elevation in your life. So if you think that this program would be a good fit for you, be sure to apply so that we can make sure that it's a mutual fit. You can click on the link in our bio on Instagram and the link on Facebook, which I'll post in the description. And if you have any other questions because you watched this on a replay, feel free to drop it in the comments or to inbox the message. And if you think that this would be useful for you and a colleague who you plan on matching with and celebrating with next March, please go ahead and share with them. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll chat next time. Take care. Bye-bye.